That's why I refer people, is because I know they'll be taken care of by these companies. But those companies will be the first to tell you. If they start to falter on service...
They don't like Shawnee.
Nah, they're big fans of Sean when he gets them in a store.
Oh, I don't think
Not big fans of Sean when they fire them because they suck at their jobs, because they outgrow their support.
Sales, marketing, automotive. Jason Harris has done it all. This is the After Hours with Jason podcast. After Hours with Jason podcast is sponsored by DDS Beer Club. Beer specifically crafted for hardworking sales professionals. Find out more at ddsbeerclub.ca.
All right, Sean, Steph, thank you guys so much for taking the time tonight and speaking with me. I know you guys just drove 10 hours from Wisconsin, and so I'm just going to say that's pretty badass. So we're just going to start it off there because it is really, really cool. What I'd like to do is just take the first couple of minutes and have you guys kind of introduce yourselves and how you guys kind of got started in the business for all the people out there that don't know how you got started.
Okay. So we... well, first of all, thanks for having us, Jason. Thanks for coming out, too. It's late here in Nashville. Appreciate you doing that.
That's great.
We got started in 2000, 2003?
4.
Together as a couple, yes. As a couple.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Well, that's what Jason originally asked us.
Yes,
you're
true.
Couple.
Yes.
2003, and then we moved to Colorado.
Within 9 months of knowing each other.
Nice. 9 months. Let's go to Colorado.
Yeah.
That's Colorado awesome. From Illinois.
Or no, maybe that was 9 months living
9 months to
together.
move together, and then within a year we lived in Colorado.
Sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah. And I've been in the car business my whole life, so I was just, basically we went on vacation to Colorado, and she had never seen the mountains, so she said, hey, is there a chance we could live here? And we're like, sure, in the car business,
Sure.
Walk into a dealership.
Colorado's gorgeous. I mean, I couldn't blame you.
It was awesome.
Whereabouts in Colorado?
In Boulder.
In Boulder?
Originally.
Very cool.
Yeah, moved right in there. And then we were there for...
7 years?
7 years.
Yeah.
And
running dealerships, trying to work my way all the way up, get to that threshold that you were at as far as being an owner and working towards that, and just something that probably in that particular situation wasn't going to work out long term.
Yeah.
And we got asked to go take a corporate job. Funny that we're in Nashville, Tennessee, telling this story. I got asked to take a corporate job, so I flew out here to an interview with Nissan North America for a consulting job through ADP Cobalt Nissan deal. I came out here and they gave us a job, but the one caveat was we had to move back to the Midwest where we were from.
Oh, wow.
So I remember calling her and going, hey, we got the job. And she's like, sweet. You just kick it. We had a great time in Colorado. Not so much.
It's over.
Yep, we got to move back to the Midwest.
So we tried to think the positive of it, and we're going to go back home and be closer to family and save some money because it's very expensive.
Yeah. Sure.
And 7 years later, here we are.
Yeah, 7 years later. And I obviously only lasted about 18 months. Yeah. In the corporate world.
That's 18 months.
Yeah.
It's longer than most. It's you must be like me. You just kind of have that entrepreneur bone. It's just I would like it if I could work for someone. I really would. It would make my life a little easier if I could just strap myself down and just do that. But I think about 18, 24 months was about as long as I actually made it as well. And you have to, I don't know, it's just, you gotta do your own thing.
It's not only that, but it's just, there's just so much red tape.
Yeah.
And you can't get anything accomplished. You have to ask a million questions. Simply, the people answering these questions haven't even done the job that you're trying to train on. So it's just like, how can I continue to work in an atmosphere where the people above me making the decisions don't have any idea what's actually going on?
Mm-hmm.
So we decided that we would take a chance, and it started off we were going to buy into a dealership, and so we reached out to my now business partner, but a good friend Jeff, who's my operations director, and started talking about a dealership and blah blah blah. So then I got a chance to sit down with an owner who had 17 stores in Wisconsin.
Wow. Sat
down with him and said, hey, here's what I'm looking to do, and he kind of looked at me like, you don't want to do that. I said, why don't I? Right? It's like,
this is what he's ever dreamed of or spoke about. Why would you tell him not to do something?
I had a very similar person tell me the exact same thing. But go ahead, finish.
It's all I want to do, And he's like, absolutely not. He's like, you can help so many more people by just running your own business. Why don't you just start your own company and start with 3 of my stores?
Yeah.
So 3 stores and $3,000. is what he guaranteed me for 90 days.
Nice.
And asked me to jump off a bridge, with a 6-figure corporate job and insurance and everything else. But, she's the CFO in life and in business. And so her and I sat down and she's like, look, you can go take a job. You can try this. If it fails, you'll know in 6 months and you can go on about your life. So she decided to give us the green light there. And Jeff was on board. He had a corporate job with Whole Foods. Mm-hmm. So he quit that and came to work for us too with a $30,000 guarantee. And last time I made $30,000, I was 18 years old, so it was a little uncomfortable. But for me, it was worth it. Now this is year 6.
Coming up on it.
Yeah, coming up on year 6, and I can't thank her enough for the opportunity to trust. You know what I mean? Like
it's the support,
you know how
right?
it is. You have a wife. It's to have someone support you through it. I can't imagine what she's dealt with over the last 6 years. Me, I get to just deal with car dealers, which seems easy, but dealing with me seems more difficult.
Now, obviously there had to be some times during the whole beginning part where you just kind of questioning yourself, or was this like when it started to go, did it just start to take off? I'm just kind of curious in that beginning portion. How was it? I'll get your version and then I'll get his version.
No, go ahead. Yours first.
It totally was not a thing. Some of his previous, dealers were into it and were on board with us, but some were like, I don't get it. And then we had problems with his previous employer in the first year, and it was like, I just told him, put your head down. We're gonna make it. I know how to budget us through it. Put your head down, keep your mouth shut for a year, and let's get through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had me on a non-compete clause, basically, and I was very naive / arrogant / really didn't think anyone would care that I went off on my own. And so I did that, and they came back to me and basically said, hey, look, we're going to sue you for $1 million and breach of contract and all this other stuff. And so had to go hire the best possible attorney I could find in Wisconsin to make sure we didn't go that far. And worked our way through it. And basically the writing, I still debate it to this day. It was written that I couldn't call on people that I had left.
Yeah.
When I left, all those people called me. I could show you cell phone records.
Yep.
Every call is from someone else to my phone. I never once poached anyone.
Yeah.
But no one cares, and that was her point, was keep your mouth shut and don't deal with it.
Just put your head down. If they're scared of you, you're onto something. So put your head down. Let's hone our craft.
Yeah.
And then come out guns blazing. Well,
and I think that's really key, is that you have to run your own race.
Yes.
And there are times that as we're building our businesses that it's like a horse race. You got to put the blinders on and not pay attention to what every other horse is doing, and you just continue to run forward. So that's cool that you had some amazing support while doing so.
Yeah, there's no way any of this is even possible without her support there, and then Jeff's support on the business side. These guys run a good 80% of my life.
Yeah.
I got to just show up to most places and talk.
But again, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for everything that he brings to the table. So,
well, it's a collective support.
It is.
It's I can say this, being an entrepreneur myself, you rely heavily on the pillars that hold you up at times.
True.
So without those, it can become increasingly difficult.
No doubt.
For me, when I was growing up, it was actually my father. So I have a very weird relationship with my father, and my wife still struggles with it sometimes. But he was my coach and my father at the exact same time. So I did track and field, very competitively all through middle school and high school. And every summer we traveled all over the country doing track meets. So we have this ability to kind of fall in and out of coach and father almost simultaneously. And for the outside world, they don't necessarily know exactly how that is. I imagine you guys are probably do something along that lines. You fall in and out of business partner and.
I would say that we are pretty much transparent wherever we are.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I feel like it's hard for people to be around us because we are who we are at all times.
So the business and personal life is all kind of one for you guys.
It is because we don't have
children.
We don't have kids. We don't have an office. The office is the house.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Jeff's right around the corner in Wisconsin. So we just kind of hang out, and everyone does their jobs, you know, and we get things fulfilled. But as far as how we started coming out of the gates gangbusters, we had a big contract out of the gate. You know, I think that's what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs if they're smart. You know, you people say, oh, you take risks. Okay, I take calculated risks.
Yeah. That's really
which
what
may
it is.
as well not
Yes.
be. I mean, they're really not. I don't jump on airplanes without parachutes. You know what I mean? I jump out on someone's back. You know, I might make sure. But so when we first started, who we were for the first 90 days and who we are today, they're nowhere near the same company.
No.
You know, I wanted to be the next big training company.
Yeah.
I was going to take over the training world. I knew how to do it. And I mean, the lawsuit didn't scare me. What it did would open my eyes to how flooded of a field that particular world is.
Oh, it's huge. There's just so many people playing in that space.
And so why bother?
Yep.
So we came up and developed a different plan, which was to basically sit between dealers and vendors and help dealers understand all the things that vendors were trying to sell. I mean, look, you're a vendor. You understand the digital space. Every second there's another vendor selling something that's going to make a dealer more money, sell them more cars.
Oh, 100%.
And being a dealer, you were a dealer. Hearing that shit, you were just like, man, these people are. If I really did what you said I'd do, I would only need like 3 of you as my actual advertisers because I'd sell like 1 million cars according to all of you. So it'd be awesome.
Every single one of them is the best.
Yeah.
We're all the number one, you know.
Yes.
And you know, without us, you're not going to sell any cars. So you better sign on the dotted line, right?
Correct.
Guaranteed.
But without dealers, there's none of this. Dealers are responsible for so much of a microeconomy as it relates to that.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't think a lot of people really pay attention to that. So the microeconomy is, you know, the average dealer with NADA says $15,000 to $20,000 a month on, you know, advertising. That's a lot of money. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. They're talking about $250,000.
Yep.
But it's car dealers. Well, car dealer rich isn't really as much of a thing as, again, people think it is. The idea,
That's a pretty big misconception.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people think that if you're a car dealer, because I would tell people, you know, I have a Mitsubishi dealership, right? And they go, oh, so where's your Maserati at?
Right.
You got to be rolling with the Ferraris then, aren't you? And it's like, dude, no, are you kidding me? Like, I'm leveraged my fucking eyeballs. It's like,
I don't have a chance, man.
Dealerships are so cash insanely heavy, right? Or demanding.
Demanding.
I mean, demanding.
Demanding,
I mean,
yeah.
it literally. I mean, I could have several million in the bank. Start by, let's say, the 3rd of the month. By the 15th, there could be a couple 100,000, and by the 20th, I'd be literally negative 217,000. And then the 1st would come around. The bank would pay on all their contracts and go right back up.
Right.
But that's how the scale of the life is in the business, right? And that's what you feel. Those spikes in times that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I had to get out of retail. Frankly, is because at the time where I was at, it was either going to be her or work, and I didn't want to choose work. I mean, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I love the car business. You know, that's all I care about.
I think you were afraid it was either me
Yeah,
or the
she
car
never-
business
yeah.
because it happened within the dealership. There's relationships that broke up, and why did your wife leave you? Well, because you're in the car business and this is your life and you're never home.
It's funny that you bring that up because I have thought about actually surveying to see how many, because I've met a lot of dealer principals. And I'm always amazed to find out, and I would really be curious to know what percentage of them is on their 2nd or 3rd
It's got to be
marriage.
50.
Totally.
I would say you got to be close.
Totally.
Like out of the hundreds and
I
hundreds.
might
that
be
I've met,
high.
You know,
Depends.
it would be close.
Yeah.
Look, this business is, we are at the mercy of the consumer, and the consumer has a very specific time when they want to do business, and that is pretty much what it is. I mean, when I was having when I ran the dealerships, I was there before my kids woke up. I was home after my kids went to bed, and you know, it was Monday to Saturday. Sundays the dealership was closed. I would go in just so I could do paperwork, because it's the only time nobody would be there to ask me to put out 15 fires for them.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
so it is a very, very, very demanding business, but it's also a place that we just love. It's one of those things that gets in your blood, and you just can't get the damn thing out.
I can't. You know, I sold my first car when I was 17 years old, and it was just like, yeah, okay, this is awesome. You know,
So tell me about your first car that you sold, because everybody remembers their first. I do.
My first was a 1998 red Cavalier, and I know this because it was my demo. And I was told that if I could sell my demo, I could get a nicer one.
There you go.
So the first day I was like, well, cool. I'm going to try and sell this thing. I want to
get out of the
I
Cavalier.
move, you know what I mean? So there you go. Walk in, and it was a younger couple. Just needed a cheap car. They had crank windows and bam, bam, bam. So I was like, all right, cool.
No AC?
Young couple, AC, but crank windows.
Manual?
AC, automatic.
Nice.
Automatic, yeah. Young couple was getting ready to have a kid or whatever, and came in. They were like, look, we need a car. It's a deal. I was like, well, I've got this demonstrator model, it's already been driven by someone, and drove it for one night, and they were like, cool, we're in. So did that, got excited, and was like, yeah, this is cool. And it wasn't because you made any money. It was, at that point, it was a new car deal out of Cavaliers, $150.
Yep.
This is exciting. But no, it was exciting because then it was like, all right, well, how do you want to drive a Trailblazer? And you're like, yeah, now we're talking, dude. Like SUVs, sweet, Sweet. But, you're 18 years old, and your life is, I've said it before. When you're middle class, middle America, and you get into the car business, and people didn't teach you about money,
yep,
you kind of get screwed. I made a ton of money and didn't have any idea what to do with it.
I hear you on that one.
Make six figures before your parents do, before people around you do, before you're even able to buy yourself a drink. And it sucks because it changes who you are.
Yep.
I have such an odd relationship with money.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And when I met her, she's got the polar opposite relationship with money.
I'm very tight, whereas he can spend all the money in 2 seconds. So it's interesting.
You guys balance each other out then.
We do. We are very balancing out that way with things like that, definitely.
So, no, Steph, you didn't sell cars, did you?
I didn't, no.
Okay. What was the first car you bought?
The first car I bought?
I want to know about that.
Oh my gosh, what?
Tell her the deal with Dad.
Tell
him the deal where you want. I want you to tell the deal where you want.
Man.
And why you want. You gotta tell him this. That's what he wants to hear.
So I'm a very rigid person when it comes to numbers and budgeting. So I started off in the finance world. I worked for Harris Bank, which was bought out by BMO now. Mm-hmm. And then I worked for Edward Jones Investments as just an office administrator. And I learned investments and saving money and budgeting and stuff like that. And so I was told, when I go in, I told the guy I am looking for a $250 payment. And it was a Cavalier or a Z24.
Got a payment buyer on the lot. That sounds like a great deal.
Yes. But again, I was living on my own. Or I wanted
think so. You think so, yeah. Because you're saying to yourself, $250 up to as much as, though, right? Yeah, that's what you're doing. You wait and see, my friend.
It's bad. And so he came back to me at $260, and I said, no.
You said no? What?
No. I said $250. And so then I think he came back at $254, and I said, no. And so I had already scoped out a Pontiac Sunfire.
Nice.
And he said, I had already told him, and he said, well, good luck with that hunk of plastic. I'm like, well, cool. It's $225. So
says the guy selling a Cavalier Z24 on the other side of the town. A guy is selling a Pontiac Sunfire.
Just a badge.
It's literally same factory, same rollout.
But I grew up in a family where my dad always had Chevys, and so it was just kind of he was pushing me to have Chevy, and it was just I'll have what I want for $225.
Yeah.
And so and I'm walking out, and my dad's just kind of shaking his head, and well,
it's $4 a month, and she's like,
exactly.
It's not $250.
It's not.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's how she rolls.
So I can't imagine when you walked into the other dealership, right? And the Pontiac Sunfire.
No, the Pontiac I was already set up. $225. Yeah. He's like, here, that's what you want, and I'm like, cool.
She'd already negotiated for herself, and so Dad thought he could do one better. He'd take her to the Chevy store.
The one that
Dad will show you how to buy a car.
He had always been a part of, buying from, and So that's what happened, and so then I ended up with the Sunfire.
You ended up with the Sunfire.
Granted, that had a bullseye on it and crashed 5 times and ended up totaled, but whatever. It was a hunk of plastic that was $225 a month. And as a girl, I was 19 years old and wanting to live on my own, and it worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, we were just joking the other day about just two entirely different kind of 18 to 22-year-olds by the time we met. Like, just the path that we took to find each other. I mean, she's on a $225 payment.
He doesn't.
I don't have. I don't even.
He doesn't even understand what a
Clearly,
payment
you
means.
weren't the guy trying to sell the Cavalier. Then. Okay.
No. So let me just tell you a story that we normally have, which is very relatable to people, which is when you are younger, you have to fill up your gas tank with whatever money you have. So if that's $10, $5, that's what you do.
Change. I remember.
Young Sean Welsh here has never had a problem with gas money. He doesn't understand that. So when he's in the room, I'm like, don't talk to him. He totally
I literally don't get it. Like, people are just like, you don't remember when you I was like, no, I
No.
I don't. Look, man, I've been an entrepreneur. I mean, I started charging my parents above and beyond, their money when I was like 12 years old. I mean, I started my own cleaning business basically by saying, look, this is a union strike. Like, I'm not doing this anymore unless we pay up, because I can see the labor rates. I can see this thing climbing. We got to do it. And, my mom's owned her own hair salon my whole life. So I come from people who get that sort of the life and get what it's about. But it's, I've been fortunate. I've always tried to sell something. I mean, knives, you name it. I mean,
see, this is what I find interesting is that, all of us entrepreneurs, we have a very, very, very similar child background story, right? So I went to a private school, and there were a lot of kids at boarding rooms. They boarded there, right? So I maintained 3 lockers around campus that were full of whatever candy and magazines and comic books you needed. I had you, right? Like, it was just like, and it's not like my parents said no. I mean, shit, my mom drove me to Costco so I could buy the candy and stick it in the lockers, right? And it was like, vegetable stands, when I was really, really young. My grandparents had a farm, so, my grandfather just said, exuberant amount of squash. So I would go out there and I'd steal all of his squash, and then I'd go sell it to his neighbors, and then he'd come out and go, what the hell is squash? I said, damn rabbits. and then it was the best thing ever, because then he gave me my first 22, and he was like, you see one, take care of it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep my eye out for this. Not only did I sell squash and got a 22 out of it, but that's just, our stories are, I always kind of find that, right? It was like, when I was old enough, I got my first truck was a Mitsubishi Mighty Max.
Okay, nice.
All right, nice. With a camper shell on it. Sweet. And it had this amazing kind of like a Navajo Indian like car seat cover.
Very nice.
Like, it was really, really
very nice. Beaded?
Yeah,
nice.
It was just very, 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 very awesome.
Very good. Yeah, my first car was a white '85 Cutlass with a crushed blue interior.
Yeah, there you go.
Solid.
Right?
Solid. Yeah, 2-door baby.
But I filled that truck up every single weekend with tables and chairs and a tent, and I drove up to the drag strip, and I sold overpriced Hot Wheels to kids at the drag strip so their parents could, actually watch the race. Sure. Hot Wheels would have been 50 cents at the time. I was charging like $2 or $3 for a Hot Wheel. I remember one parent coming by going like, "What? This is ridiculous.
Don't buy it."
And I said, well, if you buy it, and then I had this entire 20-foot section of track that the kids could buy and then play with their Hot Wheel on. And they're like, oh, snap, this is babysitting. Yeah. Okay, here's $10.
Nice.
And the kid would sit there for an hour, buy Hot Wheels, and run it on my track. But I find that it's just, there's always some similarities or some stories kind of go along with that, right?
Always trying to do that.
Did you have any of that growing up?
I do not. I have a complete opposite relationship with money.
With jobs and money.
And money, yes.
Yeah.
So
you guys perfectly balance each other then.
Yeah, I like to take care of, the house and the family, and I'm a health and wellness, as he likes to say it. But I'm a behind the scenes kind of person, so I do the podcast and.
She does all the back end stuff.
I do everything. I like to say everything that no one else wants to deal with. Then they're like, "Hey, Steph, can you do this?"
She's our CFO, like I said, both in life and in work. The nice thing about it is she's also balanced too, right? So she doesn't, having not been in the car business, but been adjacent to it for now 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has her opinions.
And I think that's a valid point. I'd actually like to hear that, because both of us have been in the car business. You've now got to experience the car business from the kind of the outside in.
Yep.
In the current state of the car business, what do you think What do you think is going on right now, where you see dealerships and user experience and stuff like that?
That's not really something.
That's not really my thing, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
What side of the car dealership then do you see?
I see more the inside. When we were talking earlier about the dealer and the people who work at the dealership, I'm more sympathetic to those people. And that's kind of what I love about this business, is that we have been on both sides of it now. And I don't like to see when people pick on the dealers or the people who work at the dealership. It's a hard life, and they really struggle. And I
think that's a great thing to actually bring up, and it's often enough we don't talk about it. Is that we're actually humans at work at these places,
and you're not terrible people because you sell cars.
Well, there are some stereotypes out there, and it's one of the things we're always dealing with.
No
right?
doubt.
Is, unfortunately for a lot of people, visiting a dealership is right up there with going to the dentist or having to visit a lawyer. Like, it's literally their expectation of what the experience is going to be like, right? And what they don't realize is that we're just normal individuals just trying to make a living as well.
No doubt.
Because there have been bad apples. I know you've probably known. I've met a handful of myself. Maybe you've met a few.
I grew up in the Chicago car business, so I mean,
no doubt.
certainly happened.
It was totally different for him coming from Chicago to Boulder to sell cars. He went from taking advantage of people heavily to then being toyed around with people who are educated and have learned about the product before walking in and just expecting you to sell them a cheap car.
Yeah.
And he was really very beat up over the Chicagoland area of that part of it.
The grind that goes with the metro areas like that is a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the competition's huge. The expectations are even bigger. And the further you get west in the United States, the more laid back people get. And so bringing that tenacity from Chicago into Colorado, I initially got nicknamed Chicago Sean. And the first time I threw someone out of the dealership, the owner came over to me and was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Screw this. This guy's a mooch. People like this will be back. Don't worry about it. Like, seriously, get him out of here." And 3 hours later, guy shows back up and buys a car. And it's like, "Well, how did you know?" It's like, guys, come on. You guys don't sell enough cars because you don't sell enough cars. You sit here and you expect cars to be sold.
Yeah.
We need to push people. We need to get them over the edge. So there's ups and downs. I worked through 9/11, man.
Yeah.
Business. I mean, that'll change you.
Yep.
The recession, 08, 09. That'll change you even more.
Yep. That's what drove me to Canada.
Yeah. But initially, really?
Yeah. I was working for a GM group. I was head of internet operations in BDC, and then everything went belly up, and my wife's from Canada.
Huh.
So I was like, the hell with this. I'm moving to Canada. I just thought I'd find myself another big dealer group to work with. Oh boy, was I surprised when I got off the plane.
Yeah. There's like 4 of them.
Oh man. It's everyone's owned by, so and it's still the case. I mean, the dealer groups, and I moved to Canada almost 11 years ago. Oh. So it's gotten better. The groups have gotten larger, but still a fair amount of them are more of like just a group of dealers, not actually a dealer group, if that makes sense. There's kind of 2 totally different mentalities there. And it was crazy. I got there, I thought I'd find myself a dealer group to work with. That wasn't the case. I remember walking into a Ford dealership and introducing myself and telling them a little bit about my marketing background and my operations background and stuff like that. And when they heard marketing, like, "Oh, we just changed some things, so I'd like to get your opinion on what we're doing." I said, "Oh, that's cool." So he reaches into his desk and pulls open a drawer, sticks an envelope probably about that big on the table, about that thick. And inside was $35,000 a month worth of newspaper clippings, and that's what this guy's marketing strategy was. And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Where's Ashton Kutcher? Yeah. He's gonna pop out, right? Like, I'm getting pumped right now. I'm like, where's he at?" And I thought for sure that had to be an isolated event. Actually, that wasn't. That's when I knew I was exactly where I needed to be.
Sure.
Like I literally remember coming home. And I walked to the door, and at the time I had just moved to Canada, so I was living with my wife's parents, right? Because we were still just kind of moving up there and getting situated and everything. And in fact, my residency paper hadn't even cleared yet. It was probably just within about 3 or 4 weeks for that clearing. And I just had the biggest smile on my face, and she's like, "What are you smiling about?" I'm like,
I'm gonna like it here.
I'm gonna like it here. Like, this is good. But I remember, so of course I couldn't find a big dealer group with it, so I consulted with a lot of dealerships, right? And one Saturday I was there doing a Saturday morning meeting with the dealership, and then afterwards I just started to hang out for a little bit. They got super, super busy, right? And there was someone in the showroom, and I said, hey, do you mind if I'll help you out a little bit, right? He goes, okay, that's cool, but you can't do the whole thing because up here you need a license to sell cars. Yeah, you have to pay the government about $400 or $500 just to sell cars. That's a whole nother topic in itself.
Sounds good.
Like, seriously, you have to pay the government to actually take a test just so you can sell cars.
Wow.
I thought someone was
Colorado
punking
has that.
me.
Wisconsin has that. I mean, it's not nearly as expensive, but there are certain states that have it. Yeah.
It's crazy. And then they make you renew it every single year, so you
Sure.
can pay the extra amount,
And does
right?
it go up, or does this price stay the same?
Price stays the same.
Of course it
Yeah. So I grabbed this customer. I filled out a credit app. I gave it to him. And I said, I'm just going to go take this customer out for a test drive. Can you run the credit app? And they looked at me sideways. What did you just do? I said, credit app? Like, I don't want to go spend 2 hours of my life and then find out they can't finance a hot dog. Like,
Right.
What's going on here? The guy wants to drive like $65,000 truck. Like, run the credit app. Oh, no, we don't do this here. Like, it is a 3-day process to sell a car in Canada. It is, and you can't deliver the car on the spot.
There's no spot deliveries.
There's no spot deliveries. It actually has to be physically licensed. So you actually could buy the car, then the customer has to disappear for 2 to 3 days while you get the licensing, and it has to be fully insured before
How
it
many
can take it
deals
off the
roll
lot.
out on a deal like that?
Tons.
God,
Tons
all
will
the
fall
unrolls,
apart.
all the people.
Tons will fall
People
apart.
show up on Friday, think they're all good to buy a car, and
And
then
then come
back
Wednesday, and they're like,
nah,
I don't feel like it.
you know what? My brother-in-law called this guy he knows, whose uncle's mother's sister's cousin's sister works at a dealership, and she can hook me up with a better deal. Yeah.
Wow.
So, like in Canada, where you negotiate from cost to MSRP, not where we negotiate from MSRP to dealer cost, right? We're actually negotiating down, not up.
Wow.
It's the trippiest thing in the world.
That's solid.
Yeah, it is the trippiest thing in the
It's a
world.
great big
So I had to learn a lot of things really, really quick, right? But that gave me an opportunity. You know, what I learned here, taking it up there, and just kind of getting it in. But it's an interesting, especially for the dealerships. It's interesting because the average, like, I personally sold my best year when I was on was I think 516. It was my best year, 516 units. All right, the average dealership up there don't even sell that many in a single year. I mean, my mid store wouldn't even break 400 units in a year.
Wow.
Like, so the size of the dealerships are a lot smaller, right? And what's unfortunate is that they seem to copy pay plans like the U.S. dealerships, but it's an entirely different environment up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Plus, there's a whole big thing with like the websites and Trader and just like
Oh yeah.
there's
Fun
no
times.
control of marketing, and you don't have your own website.
And then the co-op policies and just
Someone
like,
else owns your
oh my gosh.
inventory. Like the whole thing's jacked up to me.
Mhm.
Every time someone tells me a story, I'm just like, what are you talking about?
oh, literally, I fight it. Like,
Go to V Auto, get your own inventory fee, go get your own website, and put all these people to bed. Like, what are we waiting for?
No, I know. And the funny thing is they can't. They literally are held hostage up there by certain vendors, right? Like,
Which drives me nuts because I mean, without the dealer, there is no vendor.
see, that's what I try to tell everybody. They don't understand that these marketplaces, all right, they got too big for their britches and now feel like they own all this stuff. They literally, in their contracts, pretty much say that they own the IP of all their inventory, which is mind-boggling, and dealerships still seem to sign off on it, which blows my mind. But what happens is the marketplace didn't exist unless the dealerships actually was willing to put their inventory onto the marketplace in the first place, and it's just been a shit show for the last 15 years up there.
Well, right, but I mean, and to be fair, that's no different than here, right? Like,
Yeah.
we made a mistake 20 years ago.
Giving up
letting
that
Auto Trader resell us our inventory. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a thing. Okay, we all get it. You know, it was a mistake, but now it's just blown up. Right now, there's Car Gurus, everyone. I mean, Carfax. Everyone's trying to inventory feed out. And the most frustrating thing for me is these guys. If I own 10 stores and have one feed, that's what the feed should be.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be an individual rooftop or No. Here's one feed. I get why it used to be that way because it's difficult to combine feeds.
Literally,
Here's one feed.
from
Have a nice
a
day.
pure technical perspective, that's all you need. Like it's literally we just come up with random stuff to charge people. That's
it.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. And that's why we created our business. Because
Yes,
we
yeah,
can't
and
have
that's
it-
kind of the loop
can't
around.
have
That's
it
where I
be the
kind of
case.
was getting here, right?
Yeah, that's what we can't have that be the case.
Yeah.
Our whole job is to inspect. We don't sell anything.
Yeah.
But what we call vendor management, and this idea of looking over dealers and making sure they're not being taken advantage of. Not everyone's honest in the vendor space, just like we're talking about the sales space.
Oh, 100%.
Everyone has great salespeople. You go to these shows, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's big shiny object. What am I going to sign up for?
Yep.
We try to help them understand that that's probably not
Call
going
them
to fix
diet pills.
Yeah.
Every dealership out there is looking for that next diet pill.
Of course.
You know, no one actually wants to do the work for it.
No.
They just want to take a magic pill and just like
Well, that's Steffi's background.
operational shit's taken care of now.
No doubt.
Steffi's background as a personal trainer, and so that's what she talks about.
Oh,
all the
then you
time.
completely understand
I
that,
totally
right?
get
Like
it.
it don't happen that way,
Totally
right?
get it. I've had a client show up drunk. Boulder, Colorado.
I say
Drunk.
younger. I may have gone to the gym a couple times still.
I wasn't paying a trainer, man. I was just going to the gym. You know what I mean?
Bullshit. That's ballsy, actually.
She wasn't so young either.
Yeah, she wasn't very young.
She was old enough to
Ballsy
understand.
actually to
It
show
was.
up to your personal trainer.
I
drunk.
couldn't believe it. I was like, okay.
But your
well.
point was always lack of commitment. That was
It
always
is lack of commitment, definitely.
That was always the issue. And this idea that you were just gonna wake up and it was gonna be. You didn't have to do the work. Like you
Yeah.
said, the
It's
weight
the-
was gonna come off.
the diet
and
pill.
I was
It's
good, man.
the American dream.
I was good. It is. It's the silver bullet. And look, I say this all the time. There's only one internet.
Yeah.
That's it. So all
far as I know.
all that you're aware of, that I'm aware of, that any of us can access. I always joke the government has their own. That's none of my business. So on our internet that we can use, the marketing is, Jason, what you do isn't proprietary
No, not at all.
to anything.
I do not.
Because
I
it's
do
on
not
the
have a
internet.
magic. I tell everybody I have no magic fairy dust. All right. If there's a lot of companies out there that claim they do.
They
like
do.
a lot of companies that
I mean,
do.
just throw out the
I'm like-
algorithms and the nonsense and the,
like-
and the
Fancy
Well, our
words.
systems are constantly calculating down to the millisecond of the proper key. No, you don't.
Just stop.
Just please stop.
We
Please
make
stop.
3,000 bit adjustments every 2.5 minutes. It's like,
Yeah, I know. I'm
Then,
like,
you're fucking bad at your job. You
Yeah,
shouldn't have to
you
make
shouldn't have
this
to make
many,
that many
adjustments
adjustments.
in a given day. Just don't tell me consumer behavior just all of a sudden was like, well, you know what? We're going to change directions.
It's
what we've been
true.
doing for the last 5 effing years.
But a lot of people do want, and I'm sure you probably get this too in your background being a personal trainer, is this set it and forget it type of mentality.
Yes.
You know, they just want to write the check. You know, they just want to. I mean, really, at the end of the day, they just say, "Oh yeah, I got a personal trainer," but they don't actually have to show up. They just want to say
yeah.
that they can do it. It's like I hate to say it. I'm going to admit this, and it's going to be horrible. I'm going to get shit for it. I paid for a gym membership for a solid year and never freaking went.
Look, this is
Okay.
this is just
Like,
So-
how bad is that?
I'm gonna find you'll find out.
So one of our good friends runs a gym.
Yeah.
And he came over one day and basically said that like,
Because I just never got the economics, right? Like, I look at the building, I hear what his rent is, and I'm like, okay,
How's it
how the
looking?
F do you possibly make any money in this joint? I always see like
And so-
13 people here when I'm here.
All those people.
we both look at him and we're like, for all the people that come in at January 1st and sign up for their membership, come for like the first week and then never go, but forget that it's being deducted. And he's like, what are you talking
Or too
about?
embarrassed to say anything.
Right,
Yep.
true. And he's like, well, no. And our friend's like, yeah, that's like 80% of our
80%
business.
of his
80%
clientele
of the
is
business.
less than 90 days into a year's
And yes,
contract.
working at
Wow.
a gym, yes, you have the people who come 2 hours a day and you got to kick them out. Like,
Yep.
go home. And then they go get another gym membership somewhere else because they don't know they just worked out for 2 hours. Or you have the people that forget they have a gym membership and don't come.
Set it and forget it. And it's another huge issue. And again, but that doesn't also mean that constant change is necessary either. What it means is
No, you have.
inspection.
It's the same thing
It's
as
all
working
it is,
out. You
right?
have to create a routine.
It's just
Yes.
All
inspection.
right. Like if no, I'm not saying I could get a six pack. This keg of mine took some hard work to make.
Sure.
hard.
But if I wanted to, there's a very specific routine.
Yes.
That I would have to get into.
Yes.
All right. I would have probably a stage one on my routine, and then as I kind of got to a certain stage, I'd
Those
have to create
breakfast
kind of
meetings would look a lot
stage.
different, Jason.
Oh,
They
man,
would look
those
a lot
breakfast
different.
meetings would be
Most
just
of your
like-
meetings would look
Actually,
a lot
of my
different,
meetings
okay?
would look very, very different.
Yes, they would.
But obviously, I'd have to create a routine, and then I'd have to change it at
Progressive.
some level as I
Yep.
progressively move up. I mean, that's the same way that we look at marketing with our dealerships, right? Is that we start them off at an entry level, kind of a beginner style,
See,
class,
I like that.
and we
That's
start
your
to move
approach,
them
but
up.
that is not the approach of the many in the
Yeah,
space.
no, that's very true.
The approach of the many in the space is how can I get all of the money I can up front and then let them just chip away at me over time and keep my contract live. And that's what pisses me off.
Yeah, that drives me nuts. I see so much of it.
Because the reality is, if it works, and this is from the marketing director at the stores we work with, Monica, she always says this, if it works, you can feed the beast.
100%.
But what I always say is, what you can't do is get the beast to spit back out money if the month sucks.
No.
For instance, January in the United States was one of the worst Januaries that this country has seen in sales for a while.
For a while. Yeah, we felt it up in Canada.
Talked to a lot of dealers,
Yep.
a lot of people felt it. Right?
Yep.
Weather, whatever. Doesn't matter because no one cares what the excuse is, whether it's weather or reality.
Oh no,
one cares.
I got a couple of people that I literally actually just before I flew up here, I was in a meeting with the dealership. The meeting starts off, and I said, before we go any farther, I just want to make sure, are you blaming marketing for your sales in January? He's like, I'm like, because you can if you want. It's okay. We'll walk through this. So he's like, yeah, I'm thinking we've talked to everyone. I think that was the problem. Okay, so then we walk through it, right?
Yeah.
But at least admit it. It's
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, and marketing can be the problem, but if these guys really look at it,
Typically, it's not. Honestly, it isn't.
It's not. I say it because you're a marketer, so I don't want to sit here and,
No,
and act
no.
like it's not a
Look,
thing. It is.
See, the thing is, I'm a marketer,
just-
but I'm operations first.
Right, you
right?
run
I have
you
a
run the
very
dealership
weird.
operation.
Yeah, I come from a totally. Everything we do comes from a perspective of operations because I run the dealership. Literally worked every single position in a dealership.
Yeah.
I remember I was like you. I was a salesperson. I was making 6 figures a year, but my goal was to own my own dealership. So I actually stopped being a salesperson about 3 years into it and took a job as a service advisor for $40,000 a year. And every day, my manager would come to me, and goes, "I hate you."
Right.
Like,
Why are you doing this?
like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, you don't get it. I got a bigger plan here, And I didn't stay with it. I did my 9 months. I took my 9 months. I literally
did the
what
same
I
thing with
paid
finance.
for my education. That's what I did,
Okay.
right?
There you go.
I took my pay cut and I went and got the education I needed in the service department. I did the same thing in the F&I department. I did the same thing with the admin department. I went upstairs and I was a controller's bitch for 9 months again. That was
Again,
quite
just
interesting.
To learn that side of it.
Just to learn that
Yeah.
side of it, 100%.
Yeah, that's what you do. I mean, worst 9 months of my life in the car business was finance. I used to come home to her and just be like,
He hated it.
But you have to understand
you have to understand, if you're going to run dealerships, you're going to be an effective general manager. And look, we got a lot of people who get promoted without reason anymore. It's not a cliche. The worst salesman makes probably the worst manager. And I know that because I was a high-end salesperson, but I wasn't the best.
Sure.
I was a 30-car guy.
Sure.
There's not still guys doing 40, 50 cars. Fine, that's better. But I had an ability to just get things done. So that's why in dealerships, it's all about how hard you work and what time you want to put in. And
That's the one cool thing I still like
That's
about
it.
the dealership, is that you don't have to be the most popular kid at school. All right, if you work your freaking face off, you can make the money. Like you can.
you can make money. And
It's,
I don't have a
all you
college
have to do is
education,
just
so,
I don't
I mean,
either.
This is my education. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we got. And when I met her, she was I've had 2 jobs in my life. I've either been slinging suits or selling cars. And when I met her, I was selling. Yeah, I used to work for a Men's Warehouse.
Nice.
For the longest time, I was one of the youngest GMs in company history and all this other shit. But Steffi, when she met me, I was working for them. And I was trying to do the whole corporate ladder climb. And it was just like, by the time you actually got out of the retail stores and into the corporation, it was just like, oh no, this is not going to work out. Like, the walls are coming in. She was able to kind of see that right away and be like, don't do this. Don't be miserable at a job. Don't just keep a job. You keep a job if you don't have to.
So for a lot of people out there, because I have had several people ask me, what does Sean Welsh actually do? But don't get me wrong though. I get the question asked myself because you'll find a lot of my content actually has nothing to do with what I actually do. It's just my passion. It's just what I end up talking about.
None of my content does either, which is why people don't understand.
Exactly.
Because I don't use my content to sell anything.
I don't either.
No, you don't.
I don't put out there, go, hey,
No.
come do a video with me, or
No.
let us make phone calls. Actually, most of the time people go, you have a full BDC for hire? I'm like, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Wait a second, I've known you for 2 years and I didn't know that.
Right, I just learned it. I didn't know that. Again, you don't. You're posting your content is about content.
It's the same as it is.
Engagement.
Well, it's about the brand.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about what you guys do at Car Bix Done Better.
What we actually do at Car Bix Done Better is we take dealers, we help them deal. It's the new slogan. So dealers deal with digital marketing.
Deal with digital marketing. Okay,
Deal
I
with
like
digital
that.
marketing. So again, there's no sale of product, right? You have your whole suite of things you sell. We don't. But if you come into a dealership and you say, "Hey, Mr. Dealer, we want to sign you up," we say to Mr. Dealer calls us, says, "Sean, Jason's company wants to sign up with us. They want to, they want us to get on board with them."
Sure.
All right, cool. Well, let's demo it. So Jason and I will talk. We'll have a demo. Blah blah blah. I sit through more demos than anyone you've ever met in your whole life. That's my whole job across the country. That's all I do for dealers. I sit through demos from chat products to websites, you name it.
Yep.
If I haven't heard of it, I'm about to hear of it, and we always try to stay on that cutting edge of it.
Sure.
So the goal is to help balance that relationship. So we sit, we meet with you, and we get done with the meeting. We talk about, all right, how does what Jason do align with what we already do? And what are we going to replace? How are we going to exchange? Duplicate services is a huge issue in the car business.
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Right?
It is literally last week, first consultation with the dealership, 3 different CRM systems that they're paying well over $1 Gino a piece for a month. Not a single one of them were being used.
Right.
Sorry, anyways, go ahead.
Or you have people who are like, oh, well, I have one guy who does my PPC, another guy does my SEM, and you're just like,
Oh, don't forget about the SEO guy.
tell me you're joking me. Yeah, but I mean, but those two are literally doing the same thing. The SEO guy is just part of the acronym nonsense that we've developed.
I know.
But I mean, that's acronym selling, right? You can't do it without it. But yeah, dude, so that's the goal is to take, like Steffi said, is to take this idea of compassion for that part of the side of the business, and this idea that there's just endless pockets. Dealerships just have.
We are an advocate for dealers.
So
That's what we are.
We're anytime they want to do marketing, we want to advocate.
It's funny. We often run into the obstacle that people think that he's taking over someone's job within the dealership. And so we created these videos to show people that we're not trying to take your job. We're trying to help you. And I think that's the hardest thing for dealers is dealers are always being taken advantage of. So when someone is trying to help them, they're like, nah.
Well, and then we
That's true. I get that a lot. I really do.
Then,
And so
then
that-
we jump into the price point, and they're just like, there's absolutely no way for this price point that you can do anything you just said. Because based on what I'm going to pay you, it's less than 2% of what I pay out to these vendors. There's no way for that. You're going to be available to us. You're going to do these things for us. You're going to, deliver your material. We deliver everything to our clients via HD video.
Okay.
So in like John Madden Telestrator style. So like I've got a big app system we work from, and we log into their GA live, and we just circle what happened in the month. Here's what happened. Here's conversions. Here's the fall down. What the fuck is this? How'd that get there?
Yep.
Break it down. Then we do a full budget worksheet. Then you go through what we refer to as the big 3. And initially it was like, oh man, we don't really have anything proprietary. I remember her coming and be like, someone's gonna copy it. And it's like, yeah, they find me. I don't understand. Like they can have everything we do is simply open. Anyone can have it.
It's a lot like that personal training kind of thing. I mean, it's the way I'm kind of wrapping my head around analogy-wise is that you guys are actually trying to get them into a point where they create a routine to slim down and get fitter.
Thank you.
Right?
Because I have been
and
trying.
I can understand why you understand it so quick because of your background with it, because that's the approach, right?
Totally. Sorry, I was going to say, I've been begging him for years to just go in and say, do you go and lose weight without a personal trainer?
Yeah. Some people try and they fail.
Right.
Right.
Do you do your taxes without going to an accountant?
No.
No.
Do you have a guy that you work with on your stock?
Sean, you need to listen to her.
He does when he realizes it was his idea, and then we come forward with it.
Wow.
That's part of the dealer mentality.
Wish I had my wife here. There's so many similarities.
I'm sure she would agree.
We're all alike. Again, it's
Yep.
similar. It's all, again, it takes to have creative minds who are always working and trying to stay current and new content. You have to have someone who's standing next to you who can hold their own and deal with it. It's not easy, but on the other hand, I'm not that easy as well.
No, so. Being a personal trainer for a dealership, it's a full-time gig. It really can be.
It can be.
And taking a look and deciding where the money's being spent, how it's being spent, and the effectiveness of it being spent. There's a lot of hats. This is the one thing I learned from. And actually got to the point, this is the part where I really got frustrated actually having the dealership, is it actually got to the point where I couldn't myself do my own marketing for my own dealership because I had so many other hats I had to wear.
And that's what we try and come in and help with that hat. So what happens is marketing directors originally are like, oh God, these guys are trying to unseat us.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna take our jobs. I got news for you. If I wanted your job, I would take it.
You just walk in there and ask for it.
I'll just take it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But
I literally ran into the exact same conversation.
But I don't want to live in Boise, Idaho. So
Yep.
I'm good.
I'm
Okay?
from Boise,
I'm
so
good.
don't be talking bad
I'm
about
just saying,
Boise.
I don't want to live in Boise.
That's actually pretty funny.
I say that because my buddy runs a dealership there that works for me. That's why I say it. Because
Which one?
A Maverick car company.
Okay.
In Boise, used car store. Little guy. He got a brand new building that was beautiful. And bad example.
That's that's fine. Go ahead.
But the point is that it was like, you don't be afraid of what you don't know, because we're going to be your biggest advocate and we're going to help you. And so directors that sign up with us, they love us because they can go do their job while we track down vendors, set up meetings, so vet new products. If my client comes to me and says he wants a new paid search company, I go out and vet 3 new firms and bring them in.
So is it safe to say, and I'm just kind of map out the relationship there, is that person at the dealership, you guys really give them the opportunity and the time, keyword time, to continue to develop out their strategies at the dealership level, and then you guys come in and, like a proper consultant, proper trainer, continue to monitor, measure the effectiveness
Only
of what
the
they've
results.
said.
I will comment on your strategy. It's not my business.
Yeah, so this would work perfect, because I would come in, I would give them the strategy.
Yes,
I would lay out the entire thing.
My business is to make sure the strategy you lay out happens in the data from what they expect.
See, that's perfect.
And what they see.
Now, you know what the unfortunate part is that
There's a lot.
There's a lot of unfortunate part, but is that your business does have to exist.
It
You know
has
what
to.
I mean?
It has to.
But from a vendor perspective, we think about it, right? Like, it's perfect that you're doing it, but it's sad from a vendor perspective that you have to do it, because there's so many of them out there that are taking advantage of dealerships and just trying to steal that dollar from them.
Well, yeah, I mean, but again, I think, to be fair to that point, and I say this to everybody, how many people are ever going to walk in and say they had a bad month on the marketing side? You ever sat in a meeting where your marketing company came in and said they blew it the month before? That ever happened to you?
No, I have.
See, now we're getting. That's not what I asked, though, right?
That's true.
What I said was, has anyone ever come in and said it to you?
No.
No, because no one does that.
Yeah.
I do it. I admit fault. Why? Because I'm a baseball nut, right? So you bring up the Rogers Center, Toronto, this whole thing. I'm jazzed about coming
Dude,
out
it's
in
gonna
September.
be so much fun. You're gonna come.
It's
It's your birthday. That's right.
We're coming out. It's gonna be fun.
Right.
But the thing is in baseball, you're a Hall of Famer. You do your job right 30% of the time.
That's it.
30%.
You're only as good as literally what those numbers say you are. That's
So
just
let's
no
not.
other way to get around it.
Let's not act like you're gonna hit 1,000, right?
Exactly.
That's not a thing, and neither is 400.
No.
That's only been done twice, so it's not really a thing even. So to me, I look at it and I say to myself, if we can admit fault and we can have our vendors admit fault, like vendors have to fill out the ones that really care about working with clients long term who work with us, is every month they have to submit a form to us basically that's highs, lows, things that need to be addressed, so that we can communicate those to the clients. People are like, what do you mean lows? It's like, dude, give me a break. There's a low in here.
Oh no, there 100%
there's something you have come up short on. Let's deliver back on it. You know?
There's always room. It was kind of what I was talking about earlier when I had that dealership that wanted to blame marketing for having a bad month, because to finish that story, it's totally okay. It can happen. All right, we may have just not hit it on the head. The message may not have been appropriate for the audience that we were targeting, and maybe that month, and it looked like. Well, looking at the data, really what it's going to turn out in this particular case, it was more of an operations thing. Just weren't touching desk as much as we thought we should have, and so on and so forth, right? But it could but there definitely was some marketing stuff that can be addressed and are going to be addressed. And really, what it was just it was a Nissan store, so we were 37% down in Nissan Rogues sales, which is kind of crazy because
sounds like
literally
Nissan here.
But that's nuts though. For a Nissan dealership, I mean, they can pretty much. Like, they don't even have to advertise a Rogue, and they'll still sell the damn things, right? Like, I mean, it's just like, so it was just weird to see. So, okay, so fine, we decided to make some changes, reallocate some dollars, a heavier percentage into the Rogue category than some of the other spots. But that's trippy to see a Nissan dealership 37% down year over year in just in Rogue sales.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Now they have new SUVs will eat a little bit up, but still, that's a lot.
I mean, we're looking at January. It is what it is, and what we try to do. The other thing is separate marketing from the actual job, right? Yeah. Your job, Jason, is to drive showroom traffic. That's your job.
Yep. That's it. I take responsibility up to the door.
So it's like the only person,
once they get
the only person in the world ever said it to us, right?
No, I will literally take responsibility.
You're the only person who gets us.
Really?
Because everyone's like, well, Jason, I'm going to sell you more cars.
No. Yeah. I will take responsibility up to the door. Once they're in the door, then it's your responsibility.
Correct. So if I know your data is dialed in on the marketing side, because I can see the data, I know it's dialed in. If that's the case, and you're still not selling cars, go talk to somebody else. Go figure out, because what you're marketing, that's what people will say to me all the time. Sean, it only took you a year to get my marketing dialed in, and now I it's an epiphany. I realized I need to do more training. I did this, do that. It's just like, yes, go do that.
It's funny you say that, because my team actually has me a hard time for it, because they have to constantly remind me that I don't sell operational consulting and that I do marketing, because they'll come into a meeting with me. I legitimately spend probably 70% of my time talking about operations and very little time actually ever talking about actual marketing.
Because that's what the job's about.
The two have to exist with each other, right?
There's not a ton of marketers who have a background in selling cars, by the way. Which
yes, very much.
I'm sure you know that's what sets you apart when you walk into rooms and have these conversations.
I love walking into rooms where they've never sold a car in their life, and then I'll just kind of sit there and hear the demo, because I've heard a lot of demos. I'd like to sit in the back of rooms a lot and hear demos and just sit there and grind my teeth a little bit.
I wish I got to sit in the back of the room and listen instead of sit there and be like, yes, no, your online meeting's terrible. Please make it stop.
Please make it stop. Just zone out. Just hit
I
mute.
Can't, dude. I can't.
Play some solitaire over here.
Yeah, I know. Because the second you do that, someone's like, "What do you think?" And you're just like, "Yeah," and that's it. It's bad. So yeah, it's for us. It's always about watching over the dealer, making sure they're being taken care of.
Yep.
Making sure they have the support they need, and we put out fires. We fix shit.
Yeah.
If we have a problem, we call. Here in the U.S., the companies we deal with, I have bat phones into most of the higher ups. I can get to the people I need to get jobs done. That's why I work with the people I do. That's why I refer people, is because I know they'll be taken care of by these companies. But those companies will be the first to tell you. If they start to falter on service,
they don't like Shawnee.
Nah, they're big fans of Sean when he gets them in a store.
Oh, I don't think
Not big fans of Sean when they fire them because they suck
Mm.
at their jobs, because they outgrow their support.
But it also
that's usually the biggest issue, is the outgrow their support, right? Like there's a reason why I don't have a couple hundred clients, and I don't necessarily, and I might, but if I do, it's going to be some serious. Did you see that picture the other day I posted when I literally had a VR headset on my head?
I did. I just
So I have a guy.
I want to bust your balls a little bit. Like, just what are we doing here with the VR? Like, is this what we're gonna do? Is this what we're gonna try and?
So I'll tell you what I was
Why can't we just call?
Inside the helmet that I was wearing was actually a virtual boardroom.
Oh.
So I was literally talking to another client that is probably about 3 to 4 hours away from me.
Wow.
So in the boardroom, I was showing him all the stuff that we were working on at that given moment. And in real time, he was able to ask questions, and I was able to bring other members in that weren't even in our space,
Wow.
but were at home at the moment. So we tested this
Also
whole
with
thing
their
out.
helmets on?
Also with their helmets on.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks weird as shit. Like it does,
crazy.
but
It works.
Yeah, what we did. See, that's what
It's
we figured
trippy.
out. Well, what we figured out is what you're going down the road of, right?
Yeah.
You're going down a road of trying to say, how do I basically monetize more and be in the same space? How do I
Yeah.
get myself out there without having to hit the 8,000 kilometers or whatever Canadian numbers you're throwing around to me?
what does that calculate out to? About 5,000 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, a month.
Month?
Yeah.
Okay. No thanks, right? So this is the most driving I'll do. Probably for a good 6 months, I would say, unless we're going on a personal road trip. If we're talking about work-related driving, this drive was.
Let's not act like we do anything personal. It's mostly based around business.
We do.
But
Like,
we like to kid
Why are
ourselves.
we going to Toronto?
Business.
Jason, but then we'll be in Toronto, so.
We're gonna have fun. Go out for your birthday. I know all this.
Oh no, totally,
I know,
and no
that's
doubt.
really
But
fun.
again, it goes down to the fact that it's never personal. It's always business.
There always is.
Always business.
I'm always in my phone.
We're always talking about business. It's funny.
That was back to that takes us all the way back to the end. See, that's a great thing to end on.
Sorry.
Right where we started, which was, do home and business ever collide? No, they're the same.
They're the same thing. They're the
Well,
same
and when
animal.
when you embrace that personal training mentality, you can't. Like you never stop being a personal trainer. You're always on
No.
all
She
the
does
time.
not.
Well, I
She
could,
grinds.
but he
Yeah.
also never stops. He's always in his phone. He again, just like money, has a terrible relationship with his phone.
Terrible.
Granted, it's
So
Terrible.
it's
The thing's the worst.
it's the work ethic, which
Yep.
no doubt I don't want to be out there. So please,
She's happy to have me do it. But she's
But it does. At a certain point, it's like, come on. Like we had a certain night recently where something happened and he couldn't get to his phone, and he's the next morning he's like, no one died. No fires burned down houses.
You got to get into a routine. You got the routine of also turning it off. I have those couple hours a night. I turn it off.
I don't have that. I don't have that routine. My phone never.
He gets into it and then he gets out of it.
I'm not great at it, but I try.
But you can't turn the head off, and I guess that is more my point.
Yeah, and that's my problem.
I can't shut that head off because the head is what's going to get everything else going, and
the phone is
the
just
next
a
idea.
Necessary means to taking notes and being in front of things, and that's
and researching.
I make excuses. I hired a fucking therapist for it, dude. It's barely helped. She's helped me with a lot of.
That's
other
so funny
things,
because I did the same.
Yeah, no, because I don't want it to be. I joke. It's the leading cause of divorce in my house.
No, the fact in my house.
Yeah.
How dare? My thing more was get out and talk to somebody else. He talks to me. He talks to Jeff. Go talk to somebody who has nothing to do with it and is bipartisan and can just guide you.
Yeah, and she's been again. It is helpful to have that outside voice.
100%.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That's.
But no, that's actually probably we could do that a whole nother subject. But I think it is really important as entrepreneurs. We have really, really struggled turning this thing off.
Yes.
And I've had to find very interesting ways. I keep notebooks with me. I have stacks and stacks and stacks of notebooks. I have whiteboards down in my basement that if I need to just go dump my brain, that's what I call it.
Right.
I go dump my brain so that I can be intentful once I'm done, and at least try to spend some time with the kids and be intentful. Yeah. But no, you have to do that. So
it's hard. It's hard. And especially when you don't have kids and you work in your home, it's this hamster wheel sometimes. Yeah. And again, because we don't have that detachment. Yeah, it's 24/7.
We had a workspace to be something. It's
I meant the different, again, going back to the home and business couple.
The division.
Yes.
There is no division of
we
work
don't
in
have
States.
that. No.
But I don't know that I'd have it any other way because I wouldn't want to go to an office, I'm fortunate. This is my best friend. I spend 90% of my life with her.
Yeah, see, that's pretty cool.
Wherever I go, whatever I do, she's with me.
We're terrible.
The other 10% of my life is spent with the guy behind you. That's my whole life. That's who I spend it with. And that's how I prefer to do it.
Yeah.
It's just easier that way. So.
Well, cool, guys. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. I'm really excited to get this edited because there's just so many good, juicy opportunities there. And I really think, at the end of the day, when we do these things, it's just about trying to bring value to the people that are listening to it. And, entrepreneurs and their wives and the families that support them, it's the same. I mean, I have the same conversation with a lot of dealer principals. They run into the exact same issues, so I think it's cool to actually kind of, and the other thing too is it actually brings a human part to it, right? I mean, we're still considered vendors.
I think people are actually going to realize I am a human now that I've had her on here because they've all heard about her, but I think they all think that it's all made up.
Well, that's the persona I put out. I'm kidding. But no, I think
honestly, I think it'd be great if you guys did a piece together on a regular basis.
It's funny because we've always said that.
Recently, the last couple of episodes, I've started to be playing back with her a little bit.
He does. And again, like I said, I'm behind the scenes in my cell phone drowning him out because I hear him talk all day. So the last thing I need to do is hear him talk for the next 8 to 10 minutes. But we have dabbled with that. And I think it's also a good idea to have a podcast for
No, I think you can literally create.
No, the wives of the car business.
No, seriously, I think that there's a whole
couples
topic
in the car
there.
business. Totally, I really think that has to happen because they are people, and just because they have this persona of how much money they make or whatever, they work really hard for their money.
And they don't necessarily have a real
Easy
proper
time.
support team.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
That's why we did the episode a couple weeks ago about the support team for the podcast. It was just important to me to let people know that if you're going to do this, you think it's so... One of the most offensive things I've heard since I started my own business is someone go to me and go, well, I can start my own business. You did. And it's like, oh, fuck. I have no idea what that even means, dude. And Yeah,
I think it's a compliment that he makes things look so easy, but it is kind of like,
it's a lot of work.
are you kidding?
Yeah.
Do you
It's
know
a lot of
how
work. It
hard
never
this
ends,
is?
and then we had the podcast on top of it, and you're just like, all right, where's more content?
And then the
The
Chronicles.
the easier it looks, the harder it is, guaranteed.
Agreed.
We make it look easy, it's actually the more difficult.
No doubt. And as we've ramped it up, we see less and less of our family. We are not around as much. We live further away. We're always traveling. I mean, it happens.
And those are the type of stories that I think it'd be great to put out there.
Yeah,
right?
would be.
And the strategies and putting them
It
out there
would.
would be really awesome.
Totally.
Probably so.
Well, cool, guys. Thank you
All right.
so much for taking the time. I know it's
Thank
super
you.
late. Sean, Steph, thank you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you guys and talking to you. And I'm really looking forward to putting this together, putting this edited and getting it out there.
It's awesome, Jason.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming
it.
on. Thanks, man.